IGN Live. This August, that beloved galaxy far, far away is coming a little closer to home with Star Wars Outlaws, the brand new open world Star Wars game that we are so excited for.
Now, here to tell us all about it and hopefully answer our annoying questions about Bib Fortuna and Rancors is the creative director of Star Wars Outlaws, Julian Garrity.
Give it up for Julian Garrity.
Thank you for joining us.
Thank you.
Hello.
Now, Julian, as you know, here at IGN, editorial and journalistic integrity is some of the most important stuff in the world to us. Don't laugh. So we have to know, why is the robot wearing a coat?
Why not?
Perfect.
Do you want to see a droid?
There you go.
A
There you have
naked
it.
droid? Is this what you want to see?
I mean, does that mean the other droids are naked?
Maybe. It depends. Depends where your imagination goes. To be serious, I think the coat adds so much personality.
It does.
Something that you've never seen really before, which is a droid whose pose suggests that he has a huge amount on his shoulders.
Yeah.
And he's wearing this long trench coat. It's evocative. It's provocative.
It's
it makes
great.
you want to find out more. I think it's awesome.
It's weird because it really does suddenly make it seem like all the other droids in the galaxy, with the exception of the Magna Guards, which have little capes, and IG-88, who's wearing nothing but a belt, are all just shameless nudists.
Absolutely.
All right, droids
That's a
are
new
huge
perspective
perverts. That's
for you.
canon.
Give it up for nude droids. Julian, I promise we will not just talk about naked droids the entire time you're up here.
But on the subject of big cloaks and fashion and all sorts of good stuff like that, we got to look at Lando in the trailer.
That's
Is that right?
Yes.
We can do a round of applause for Lando, I think.
Give it up for
Yeah.
Lando.
Now, this takes place between Empire and Jedi. What is Lando doing playing Sabacc instead of hatching a plan to rescue Han? What's he doing in this game? What's his role? Tell us about it.
His role, he's an expert. He's one of these elusive characters that we've peppered across the open world.
Right.
That can bring new skills, new abilities, upgrades to your speeder, to your ship, to your blaster in the open world. So he's one of those experts. And it's our take on making progression really different from just putting points in a skill tree or something like that. So you actually go and try and find people who are going to teach you how to do something new. So it's our little spin on making progression a little bit more fun and grounded in the open world and grounded with characters that we hope that you'll get to know and love.
It's awesome. It's awesome. Speaking of progression and upgrades and stuff like that, Kay's grappling hook.
Yes.
You got to look at that. It's super cool. Is that something she's going to start out with? Something you can upgrade?
You start out with the grapple.
All right.
You start out with a blaster, but the blaster you can really upgrade, and it becomes extremely versatile as a tool. So you can stun shot people. You can get a blast charge to blow things up.
Hell
it's
yeah.
a little bit more powerful. There's ion to deal with droids. So it's a really versatile tool.
Now, I feel like there's a lot of jumping, a lot of traversal there. I'm kind of curious about the exploration and how it unfolds, because like the Jedi games have had almost a Metroidvania DNA to them. Obviously, you want to have a big open world for people to explore, but you got to hide some stuff behind certain things. Tell us about sort of how players get out into the galaxy.
So Metroidvania is also something that we've explored within our open world. So that gives you a real reason to go back to a planet, even if you've done the main Golden Path quests in it. You can always go back once you've found that blast charge for your blaster, because you've seen some walls that you know that module can actually destroy.
Right.
And behind that rock face, there'll be treasure, there'll be some good stuff for you. So it's a real motivation for you to go back.
Now, Julian, you love Star Wars.
Yes.
Our audience loves Star Wars. I love Star Wars.
Do you love Star Wars?
A little bit. I mean, you know, here and there. When did you know you had nailed the feeling of Star Wars when you were working on this game? What was the thing that you were like, we have to get this right for it to feel like Star Wars?
It's a great question, because we started a few years ago, and I think I've said this before, but you think you know Star Wars.
Right.
But before you have to start designing a new droid, a new species, a blaster, a spaceship, yeah, then it gets, okay, you really have to know Star Wars. But I think when we started bringing Nyx, which is Kay's companion, to life, to give it a personality, a gameplay value as well, Nyx represents all of these attributes, and nailing that, giving it this personality and making it fit within Star Wars, within that original trilogy, that's when we knew that we'd leveled up and we'd understood what makes Star Wars Star Wars.
It's beautiful.
Now,
if anyone hurts Nyx, I will kill them.
In our contract, we cannot hurt Nyx.
Good.
So no cheap emotional points by hurting
Thank you.
the little
Okay.
creature.
Thank you.
We're not doing that.
Precious cargo.
Nyx will be there at the end of the event.
Beautiful.
Now, I do want to talk about Nyx a little bit. There's something that fascinated me. You guys did like a developer diary, and it showed a little behind the scenes. And this, Nyx was mocapped. Nyx was a puppet, which is so weird because like we're used to, in Star Wars, it's either practical or it's digital. But you made a puppet and you mocapped it and you made it digital. Tell us about that process. Were there ever other alternatives? Whose hand is that in the like?
So it's true, and this is a while ago. But every scene with Nyx that we mocapped, we had to have a puppeteer on set that was playing Nyx. And there was a real interplay between the actress who played Kay, the actor who played ND5, and Nyx on set, because there's somebody there. And true story, the last day of shooting, the person who was the puppeteer was crying because she was saying goodbye to Nyx at that moment. So it was a really, really touching moment.
We didn't even cue them for that.
Everyone's going to cry. Whoever cries the loudest gets a prize. Last year, I asked you about the Rancor.
Yes.
The large beast that in Return of the Jedi lives underneath Jabba's weird bed, and he drops things down there, and they get eaten. I was told we're not really ready to talk about that yet. Are we ready to talk about that yet?
Well, what I can say is one of the missions in the game will take you into Jabba's fortress.
Yes. Yes. I love it so much.
You're going to have to sneak inside. You're not a guest. Jabba hasn't sent you an RSVP. No. You have to sneak inside, and maybe you get to meet his pet.
Yes.
Maybe.
Yes. Yes. It took 1 year, but we got it. We got the Rancor. I'm so happy. I'm so happy.
Now, Brian loves Bib Fortuna. Brian has all the Bib Fortuna toys. He's obsessed with that weird snake-headed Major
I think
Domo.
I have like the most Bib Fortuna toys of anybody.
I have been banging.
Usually I tell my therapist, but I'll tell all of you guys instead.
I have been banging the Dengar drum for some time. If you don't know who Dengar is, he's the guy who looks like a mummy. He's on Brian's shirt multiple times. Is Dengar in the game? Can you tell me that?
Dengar is not in the game, but Bib Fortuna.
Bib Fortuna's in the game.
Yes.
See,
Well-
I'll take him. I'll take it.
My
I'll take it.
expectations are squarely in place. What's Bib doing?
Bib's working with Jabba the Hutt.
Yeah. he's
Yeah, I
hanging
mean,
out.
it's
Does he have
part of the court that Jabba has. So you have Salacious B. Crumb. You've got the whole throne room is there. So
Maureen guards, all the creatures back there.
So Bib, of course, is there.
He's doing what he does best, which is let people in that shouldn't be able to get in, right?
Absolutely.
Nijaba Nobata. Now, I want to talk about sort of the broader scale exploration because this is, the sort of issue with making an open world Star Wars game is there's multiple worlds.
Right.
And you want to have that player freedom, that exploration. Are planets locked behind story beats? How big are the areas sort of in relation to each other? And I guess what other kind of open world, open field Ubisoft games would you compare this one to in terms of scale?
Yeah, how does it all kind of connect together?
So this was one of the dev challenges that we were facing, which was how to create an open world that felt rich enough, rich not only with locations, but activities, but achievable in a way, with enough space around each one of the planets or moons that we developed to make that space exploration in your ship really worthwhile too. So you can start off in a city, leave the city on your speeder, go to a smaller settlement, call your spaceship, jump in your spaceship, go into orbit, blast a few TIE fighters, hyper jump into the orbit of another planet, and land seamlessly, all seamlessly.
Come on. Come on.
So it's open world, but it's open space.
Freedom.
It is freedom because we want agency. We want the player to live that fancy of being the ultimate outlaw within Star Wars. And that's all about freedom at the end of the day. So thematically, it's intertwined with the core gameplay that we're proposing. Every planet that we're going to feature is very different as well. So you can't compare Kijimi to Toshara to Akiva to Tatooine. They're all very, very different.
It's amazing. Really quick before we go, backstage you were talking to Stig Asmussen, who was just on the show earlier. He worked on both of the Star Wars Jedi games. This Star Wars Outlaws is going to join like a long history of hopefully awesome Star Wars games. What was one of your favorite Star Wars games growing up?
Growing up, Knights of the Old Republic.
Awesome.
So for me, that was classic BioWare. It was agency, it was choice, it was narrative, it was characters, it was Star Wars, but with a real difference. So I think BioWare nailed it, Respawn nailed it, DICE nailed it. There's a lot of great Star Wars games.
And you're going to nail it.
Thank
You're going to nail it. Julian, thank you so much. Give it up for Star Wars Outlaws. Out August 30th. You can see more of it at Ubisoft Forward tomorrow. You can catch us on the IGN pre and post show. Right now, there's plenty more IGN Live on the way. May the Force be with you.